Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. This is another episode. Thank God it's Friday. It is another episode here at the Corporate Live Show with McAden, and I remain your humble host. Yeah, on this show every Friday, you always have to see my face. Yes, my handsome. Well, you can call it a beautiful face anyway. It's not so bad for you to call me beautiful, handsome guy. Yes, today is an important day. And guess why today is an important day? For those that are joining us right now, we'll be discussing something that affects you. Yes, the economy is ash, everything is hard, everything is becoming high every day, and the price of things are changing. But is your salary changing? Guess some people are actually smiling today, and if you're among them, just say shout out to us on the show tonight. This is Corporate Live with McAden. And if you're joining us right now, just say a shout out to us in the chat box. If you're watching us right now, let's get to know where you're watching us from, and let's get to meet you. We are so excited to be doing this today. And remember, today we'll be discussing employees and versus employers. Is a battle. Are you ready for the? Oh, sorry, I'm not a fighter, but then today is like a battle. Let me come back to you with a calm tone because I don't want my face to be damaged with someone's fist coming to my face. I don't know the possibility of that over the internet, but then I need to be careful with how I say things that I say here on the show. Yes, it's Friday evening, and this is Corporate Live with McAden. We're discussing HRs Role in the economic hardship situation we find ourselves in the nation, and we are looking at employees versus employer. The battle has been ongoing for a subsidy, Naira, cash flow, floating, and blah blah. Everything is just coming, and I'm sure the landlords are already increasing the cost of accommodation, and transportation is already high there. So let's discuss all this matter today, and let's discuss areas as it affects you, a professional working in one organization or the other. So tonight we'll be discussing this topic, and with me tonight discussing this topic is no other person than Nnenna Okoroafor. Thank you very much, Nnenna Okoroafor, for joining us on the show tonight. She will be discussing this topic with me, and I'm sure she's very much ready to have this conversation. Nnenna, are you there with me? Nnenna, can you come up, please?
Yes, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Good
thank
evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a wonderful time. I mean, we've been battling one or two things, and I think well, we are here right now, and thank God it is Friday for us to have this conversation. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tell us, Nina, how has been your weekend? I mean, this Friday, how has it been for you?
Yeah, it's been a little bit hectic because I had some work to catch up on, but I'm sure the weekend is going to be a very restful one after the show.
Okay, thank you very much, Nina, for joining us on the show tonight. And tonight, because we have lost some minutes on the show tonight, we want to quickly go to the questions we have for Nina tonight. As we continue the conversation, we will display for you to get to know Nina better, going through our profile, a short bio on the flyer that will be coming across on your way. I mean, on the screen right now in a few moments time. So, meanwhile, Nina, what do you think about the topic we're discussing tonight? How do you think? How do you feel about the topic?
Well, I think it's very important to have this discussion at this point, okay, so that a lot of things will not go wrong, both on the employer side and the employee side, and also for most of HR professionals to also be aware of what they should do and be on top of their game. So it's very important to have this discussion at this point.
All right, thank you very much, Nina, for that. It's very important for us to have this discussion. So, if you are there right now watching us on this show right now, please take your phone, your devices, and start sharing the link. Invite your friends, and invite your families, invite your loved ones. Let them join us on this show. And remember, this program is streamed live to you right now simultaneously across two different platforms, even though we usually do this on three different platforms simultaneously right now on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. You see Corporate Live with McAden. Corporate Live Show with McAden. That's where you can find us on YouTube, and you can always watch the replay of this live session. And on LinkedIn, you can always watch us live on LinkedIn using my own link, my personal profile to watch us. Sooner or later, before the end of this month, we'll be coming live on our separate page for Corporate Live with McAden Show. So you can always watch us and not miss up Corporate Live Show with McAden with my own content. So thank you very much for doing this tonight with us. Nnenna, I'm so very happy to be doing this with you, and I'm sure you too. You are excited. Tell our audience how excited you are to be doing this tonight.
Yeah, I am very excited.
All right. So Nnenna said she's very excited, and I'm sure you too, you are excited to be what? Joining us on the conversation tonight. Please do us a favor, drop a comment in that comment box as we continue in the conversation tonight. If there is anything you would like to share with us, you can drop a comment. If you have an opinion concerning the questions we are tackling, you can always drop it with us also, so that we can get to what understand. I mean, see how much of impact this show is having on you as an individual, as a professional, and as an entrepreneur. Whichever one you fall into, whichever category you fall into, we will definitely appreciate you for joining us on the show tonight. Remember, this is Corporate Live with McAden, and the show commences 7 p.m. Every Friday evening. So starting from tonight's discussion, let me just go straight to the first question we have for Nnenna. The first question is, how does HR play a pivotal role in maintaining a balance? Because we're looking at balance right now, a balanced relationship between employees and employer during economic challenges such as we have it in our, I mean, in the country at this moment.
Okay. First of all, the HR team of every organization should understand what exactly is going on in our economy. Okay, so as to come up with strategies and possible solutions, okay, to balance both sides. And how we can achieve this balance is first of all by understanding what's going on, and then number two, coming up with policies that are friendly, also establishing a good work culture, a very positive work culture. Okay. And enforcing, not just coming up with policies, but also enforcing these policies. So we know that employers, okay, they are also facing harsh business. If there's this harsh business environment, okay. So what they should do, what every HR person should do at this point, is to see the business through the eyes of the owner, okay, and then feel what the employers or the top management or the management as a whole, what they are feeling. Okay, so the HR is supposed to know what's going on in the books of the company, and also understand what the staff they are facing. Okay, so from there come up with workable policies. Okay, example could be if there's a way to increase salary depending on the financial position of the company. Okay, and like I advised some teams that I happen to be on at that point in time. First of all, when the fuel hike, the first time the fuel price was increased, I was like, okay, why don't we just wait and see what goes on? Okay, let's not just take any decision. Let's just see how it goes. So that's what an HR person should do. Come up with workable policies, achievable policies. Ensure there's the work culture is positive. Okay, and understand what employer and employee is facing. What these two parties, what they are facing on their own different parts.
All right, thank you very much, Nnenna. Thank you very much, Nnenna. As you were trying to explain the part of the HR personnel or the HR department in any organization trying to create that balance, you said something regarding understanding the feeling from both ends, the employer and the employee, and this trigger a question in my mind, and I feel like, okay, let me just ask this since I'm talking to an HR personnel here on the show. What do you think is more impacted by the economic situation, the hardship we're facing right now? Who do you think is more impacted by the situation? Is it the employee or the employers?
Okay, I'll say both parties. Okay, at any
Oh,
level that we want to look at it, both parties. Now, the employers or the business owners, let us remember that they are faced with different kinds of challenges. One being the fear of continuity. Okay, the cost of operations have increased. That the running costs have increased, and they still need to maintain their workforce. Definitely, and the workforce is also looking at up to them for salary increase at this point. Okay, because
mm,
let's say someone that's been on a salary of like 200K, 200,000 naira, yeah, before now. Okay, let's say the person spent about just 40,000 naira on transportation before now. You see the person spend up to 100K, and then the cost of living has just skyrocketed. It's just for everybody, so it's affecting everyone. There's no party that is feeling it more than the other party. It's a general thing. So that's why I said the HR function. Remember that the HR is also an employee. Okay,
okay.
so definitely sometimes we could say, let us come up with policies and make more money for ourselves. All right, because definitely if the employees are meant to like have an increase in, let's say, benefits and all of that, it's also going to come to affect us. We're going to enjoy it too. Okay,
Yeah.
but at this point, at the level where we are, we see the business through the eyes of the owner. We feel the pains that the owner feels. So it's just a situation we've seen ourselves. Like I said, it affects everyone equally.
All right, thank you very much. It's affecting everyone. It's affecting everyone. I actually agree with you. I just need. I actually I brought that question to the head to clear our audience, wherever you are, whatever situation you find yourself in, whatever organization you find yourself, that these things actually affect everyone. It's actually affecting everyone, especially those who run one man business, and you need to
Mhm.
what ensure. I was listening to one of my uncle, and he owned a business, and it was like, he can't actually afford to increase salary. And I think, let me just ask you, do you think the situation at the moment should does it necessitate an increment in salary, as it as we find it today? There is so much demand from every organization demanding for salary increment from the employees and the employers. Do you think it should it should it should be a justification for salary increment?
Yes, to an extent. See, okay, let's say all things being equal,
Okay.
there are some employers that have actually increased salary. You don't just come up and increase salary. All right. So there are so many factors to look into before you do that. The number one thing you can look into is um, financial position of the company. Okay, no employer or no business, let's use the word, no business owner will be wise if they go to take loans to pay staff salaries. Now you're going to look at um, financial position, productivity. All right, productivity and performance actually drives productivity. So there are so many other factors too. So you don't just go straight and increase salaries, but there are some employers like um opportune to work with a number of business owners, and I know that some of them at this point they've said, "Oh, how are we going to help our staff? The situation is really crazy. We want to retain our staff, okay, especially the very skilled ones and the star performers, okay." And then they said, "Okay, let us add so amount to everyone's salary, okay, just a little bit, a slight increment, but at least they could foot it." Now, would you like to get a letter from HR tomorrow and they say, "Okay, we're increasing your salary by 50%," and okay, the first month goes, yeah, you get it, and everybody is happy. The second month
Yeah.
it gets delayed a little bit, then the third month you don't see your salary again, and then they start owing you from that, like that, or they are
Okay.
forced to sack a lot of staff.
Hmm.
So, like I said, those factors, then you need to look at the financial forecasts, okay, before you
Mm-hmm.
start increasing salary. But if any employer can increase salary now, and then and the workforce, sorry, the financial position of the company is very strong in the next 6 months, give to 1 year, fine. We all enjoy the increment.
All right, thank you very much. We will all enjoy the increment, especially if your organization have the capacity to increase your salary. And that is one of the reasons why we are having this conversation. The tension is out there. Everybody is crying for an increment. Even the federal government staffs are crying for an increment. But then, how do we balance the situation that the company does not lose because it wants to satisfy the employees, and that is why we're having this conversation. Remember, the discussion tonight is on employee versus employers, HR's role in the economic hardship situation. How do we balance the situation? I think HR are standing between the employees and the employer. So let me just really move on to the next question because of our time. What specific HR strategies can foster open communication and trust between employees and employers when faced with economic hardship? Because I need to explain something that I'm aware of, and I need to bring this up to you. And at some point, it seems like, especially for some multinational organization, it seems like we have more benefit going. I mean, the some of the organization don't want to just necessarily increase their staff salary because they are not they are seconded staffs or something of that nature. But then, how do uh an HR department or balance that communication? Because that question, I think, should tackle that angle of my conversation or my point, if you understand what I mean.
Okay, I didn't really get a question on that.
Okay, the question is, what what specific HR strategies can foster open communication and trust between employees and employers? At some point, some employees feel like actually the employers are gaining more than they are getting in return. So, how do we balance this trust? And the question is actually displaying on the screen. So, how do we balance this communication to what? To foster trust between employees and employers when faced with economic hardship? Then I hope you can hear me.
Okay, yes, I got the question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Okay, how to foster open communication and trust between employers and employees. Okay, the HR function. Okay. So open communication is whereby any of the parties can be free to say what they are passing through, how they feel, communicate on their goals and their aspirations. Okay. Um, first of all, out is that there are some organizations. First of all, you have to look at the work culture. There are some organizations where the employees are very, they find it very difficult to speak up. Okay, so it might be that some people who tried to speak up in the past have been punished. Okay, or they really suffered that. Actually had that experience in the course of my career, the course of my job in different places. Okay, where employees would say their mind, and at the end of the day management is not happy about it. And management might also look at HR as being soft, sort of soft. And it depends. When the HR person sits on that seat, the person should understand what is obtainable in that work environment. So if it's in an environment where employees are not allowed, there's nothing like employee voice, okay, then you know the HR has a lot of work to do in order to create that opportunity where employees are and whatever they say used against them. Now that is about being assertive, because some organizations believe that when employees are given the opportunity to have this open communication, flowing both vertically, that they take advantage of it and some of them misuse it. So first of all, let us know what's obtainable in the organization. Then now, generally speaking, what HR could do is to constantly train the management team, supervisors, line managers, team leads, and all of that. Okay, constantly train them in the sense that they should be made to understand that employees, the people working under them, are also humans, and they should be treated with respect. It actually goes both ways, okay? Because we've also seen a situation where subordinates are given the opportunity to relate with their supervisors, depending on their supervisors' management styles. And next thing they take advantage of. So, first of all, the HR should deliberately, intentionally ensure that these supervisors, line managers, management team members, and all of that, they understand that employees should not be treated as slaves. Okay, they also have their own rights, and they should also be allowed to express their feelings. Another thing is for the HR person to be honest. Okay, so sometimes employees or employers may want to speak through the HR. Let's say the management or business owner calls in the HR and says, "This is the true position of what is going on in our organization." Okay, and then seeks advice from the HR person. That's where the HR lead, or depending on the structure of the organization. So where the person is part of okay, no, where the person plays also an advisory role. So the HR comes and say HR now goes back to employees to give a different picture, at least an opposite picture of of the information he is not going to be nice. So the HR person should be honest in all communications, and also encourage business owners, managers, employees to also be honest with what they are passing through. So that way you can see that when both parties are honest, open communication is going to be achieved. Another thing is for the HR to invest in the employees and the employers' goals. Okay, the HR person understands what the goals, what the vision, what the line of direction where the organization is heading to. Okay, if our business is bad and we are draining, we are drowning, the HR person understands that, and okay, and says this is the strategies we can come up with so that we stay afloat. And then the HR person can throw it out open to the employees. Another thing I want to state here is it depends on the personal qualities personal attributes of the HR person. Is the HR person or the HR team, people in the HR team, are they are they trustworthy? Can an employee who is really passing through stress open up to talk to them on, let's say, precedent, what has happened before now? So you have some HR people who are very tough, all right, and they might just they don't
mm,
encourage employees. Now there's this fear of
mm,
HR that is natural, okay, when people come into organizations. So the personality of the particular HR person that is occupying that seat matters a lot. There are some
mm,
people who can hold their lips, but I know that
mm.
for every HR person to like stay on the job, they pass through trainings, and they have some competencies that will actually help them succeed in their role. So if the HR person can keep information to themselves, like for example, when I get reviews or when I get information or stuff like that or complaints from employees, you will never hear me mention that, is this person that said this. So sometimes they be like, tell me who made this comment, who is this, who said this, and I'm like, please, it's coming, or please ma, it's coming from your staff. Do you understand? And
Yeah,
sometimes
I
it
get.
backfires. Oh, they will say, that means, okay, that means you're on the side of the employees. And then
Mm.
employees sometimes will think, hey, HR, this dilemma we are thrown in. But to foster open communication and trust, the HR person should comes to their decks. Again, act on feedback. Another thing, environment where people are not so free to express themselves, both the employers, both the employees, question boxes. Okay, do anonymously. Like people could just go right and drop in the suggestion box without attaching their names, and then the HR person goes, analyzes, collects all this information, analyze, okay, and act on feedback, because it's one thing to communicate, for an employee or employer to communicate, and there's a feedback acting on it. Okay, so the HR person should work on feedback and ensure that they can see that there is an improvement from whatever it is that the complaint was all about. Then after that, after working on the feedback, come up with okay, measure the success of strategies that have been put, that actually open communication, that yes is achieved and trust is achieved on both sides.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I was just smiling. I was just smiling. I was smiling because there was a trend on Twitter 2 weeks ago about one popular organization, and I won't mention the name of the organization for the sake for the sake of avoiding issues that we warrant a lawsuit for doing that, or something that will backfire. Yes, but if you are an HR person and you saw that what really transpire, you will wonder, is this person really an HR personnel? Because yes, if I see this person face to face, I will ask him, sorry, you disappoint me as an HR personnel, because I feel that I should be able to trust you. Should be the intermediary between the business owner and the business worker. Otherwise, what's the essence of having an HR person? If you cannot manage the human resources, then what are you managing? Systems or laptop or whatever. I just laughed. But then, thank you very much for that question. I mean, for that answer. Let us quickly go on to the next question. I'm sure that we have interested people that are listening on the show right now. If you have questions, please throw your questions in the comment box. Let's get to have them. Let's get to what share them. I mean, bring them up so that we can have Nnenna tackle those questions. Thank you very much. It's been a conversation indeed. And then we're moving on to the next question. But then it still amazed me anyway the way the country is going. That you at some point you can't talk to your HR personnel, and whatever discussion you have maybe displays an unpleasant moment in the place of work, and you can't even disclose who offended you at workplace, and you are like, oh, what's the walls asked yeah, that's what you hear. The walls have yeah, so you don't want it to get out there to the management, because before you know it, the management staff may get to what know about it, and then you get to be laid off from the work that gets your meal, your daily bread to the table every now and then. So, moving on to the next question. Moving on to the next question. It's been a fantastic show. It's been a conversation. Please, if you are join us right now and drop your comment. The next question is: in what ways can HR address the concerns and anxieties of employees while still aligning with financial goals of employers in a tough economic situation?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Ways HR can address the concerns and anxieties of employees, okay, while still align with the financial goals. As long as the HR practitioner understands the financial goals of their various employ employers. So by now, the HR would have sat in meetings with their employers, okay, to know what's actually obtainable. Okay, I don't know if there's a question on the possible strategies that we can come up with during this period, but I wouldn't want to like be a little bit fast. I would have loved to give examples at this point, okay,
No,
so
just go
that we
ahead.
can
Just feel
drive
free to
the
explain,
answers home.
express, express your thoughts with us
Okay,
on the show. So if there's questions around that, we can always jump that question if it has been tackled. But if not, trust
okay,
me, I always bring back those questions. Thank you.
okay, okay. So, okay, back to the question. Yeah, so the HR can address the concerns and anxieties by first of all having a listening ear, okay, and also constantly updating themselves with happenings. Okay, so you bear me witness that you wake up every day. You wake up, you hear a different news. First of all, you had subsidy is gone, and next thing you had subsidy might be coming back. So it's actually fluctuating. It's not steady. So we don't know where we are for now, but we can just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know that is so bad that some mornings when I'm so busy, I'm not able to catch up with the news. I'll be like, I hope we are still in Nigeria. I hope another policy has not come up that maybe we are not Nigerians again. You understand? So I'll quickly go through news sites, because yeah, it's somehow that the MD will call you into his office as a HR person and says, "Have you heard the latest news?" And you don't know what is going on. Okay, so for example, if you live in a state like Lagos State, you know that yeah, BRT prices there has been reduced to by how many percent and this and that. And then though it's always difficult now, it's more difficult to even get a bus coming down to a BRT bus or something. So yes, the HR person has to constantly be updated with happenings around, okay,
Hmm.
so that they can actually, when people come up with come to meet them, when their colleagues who are also employees come to meet them with their concerns they have, their anxieties, they will definitely be in a better position to address that, to advise them. Okay, so let's say for example one of it is HR, my salary can no longer take me to work for like 5 days in a week because this is my transportation cost has increased from this to this. Okay, so that is one of the anxieties, that's one of the concerns. And then at that point, HR understands that maybe the employer cannot increase salaries, or maybe the employer has a little capacity to like increase salaries a little bit, maybe 10K across board, or let me not use the amount of money because we work in different organizations. And okay, let's say maybe a 10% increment across board, or 10% increment on only basics across board. So the HR person can actually work with that, encourage the management to look into that, okay, and see if it's possible, especially just in you want on work on, or let's say we call it strategy. So to sum it up, first of all, the HR person should have a listener ear. It must not be someone that employees are scared of talk to. Okay. The HR person should be approachable, make him or himself or herself very approachable, but not to the extent that they can be bent. Let's say financial controller should also be the way
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we have lost our guest on that while she was speaking. I do hope she's able to come back. Um, all right, thank you, thank you. Yes, she's back. Thank you very much. Nnenna, you were speaking while your network threw you out or something. I really cannot explain what happened, but then you were out. But then I believe you've answered question number 3 with enough points. Because time we want to move on straight to other questions so that we are able to cover as many questions with the remaining few minutes. This show is supposed to last for 1 hour with 7 minutes on the show tonight. Thank you very much, audience who have joined us so far. Please, if you're joining us on YouTube, let us know if you're joining us on YouTube. If you're joining us on LinkedIn, let's know also if you are joining us on LinkedIn. Remember, this is Corporate Live Show with McAden, and today is Friday. We do this every Friday evening. So moving on to the next question, straight to the next question. Very important is that we answer as many questions as many questions as possible on tonight's show, and then we'll also like to take questions from the audience. Please, if you're watching us right now, wherever you're watching us from, please drop a comment, a question, your opinion. Let's know how you feel about what we're discussing tonight. Remember, the topic is employee versus employers, HR's role in the economic hardship situation. The economy is harsh. Then we want to know how to deal with it better, and that's why we're having this conversation tonight. Moving on to the next question is how can HR prevent potential conflict? Yes, this is a very important question for us because conflict may arise between conflict and misunderstanding between the employees and the employers when implementing cost-cutting measures during economic downtime.
okay. Okay, how HR can prevent, hear me?
Okay, let me read out the question to you again. How can HR prevent conflict and misunderstanding between employees and employers when implementing cost down, cost cutting measures during economic downtime.
Okay, cost cutting. Okay. It depends on what the cost cutting strategies are. Okay,
Most of
if
the time
the
around this
cost
time,
cutting
so
strategy wants to start with,
okay, I was gonna say, especially around this time,
sorry,
with the pressure of trying to increase salary from salary of some employees, you feel like, okay, if we increase the workload, maybe okay, we have five staff, we want to increase the salary of the staffs, but we cannot increase the salary of the staff if we maintain the five stars. It means that when we increase the workload, we take out the functions of two staffs and split it across the three staffs that are remaining. Then we'll increase the salary. We'll split the salary of the other two staffs that will be laid off across the three people. In this, it also mounts pressure. I think that's one of the areas, and sometimes it may be on some bonuses and some important benefits on from the part of the employers, that they handle the cost, they handle the what the availability of such benefits to the employees. So how do you manage that situation, because that may trigger conflict among between the two parties.
okay. So the thing is, like I said, it depends on strategies we're talking about. Okay, for example, you might not want to, as an HR person, first of all, propose. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I said you might not first of all want to
Yes, please, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
yes, I can. Okay, so the HR
All
person might
right.
not want to first of all propose that we should cut down on the number of staff we have. Okay, sure you can hear me. I think you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so there are some cutting strategies that should actually come first. There are some cutting that should come first. Okay, so if you want to go about it like, okay, you want to reduce the workforce, you want to cut down on the work and all of that, why other people take up other people's role. So there are some factors that need to be considered, okay, before you make that kind of, or you propose that to the management. Please, the HR is not alone in this decision making process. Okay, but what the HR plays a very important role. Explain the outcome, the reason, okay, of doing that. Explain the situation, explain the process of doing that to the employees so that they would understand. First of all, okay, sometimes, okay, let me talk from something that's happened to me, something I've witnessed before. So we had this situation at work, and we understood, yes, the employer was having issues staying afloat at that point in time. It was also during a very challenging situation all over the country, all over the world. Okay, so the management team, they've already decided that this is what would happen. We proposed to management, the upper management, and approvers are coming, and we said, okay, let us throw it to the staff. So you gather your staff, call them in, and explain to them that this is the situation, and then throw it open to them. Throw it to them. What do you think we should do at this point. And then you'll be surprised that the solution to whatever challenge, okay, whatever conflict brewing policy, the solution might be in the hand of your least expected staff. So in an organization, staff, they are able to speak up, okay, you see that there are a lot of benefits from that. So what the HR person could do is to call them, speak to the staff, get to hear from them, and then act on feedback. Sometimes you could say we want to sack some staff will say no. Instead of sacking some people, let us go, or let us rotate our let us work, let's say 2 days on, 2 days off, and then we'll have a roster. And then instead of paying off full salary, you can pay 70% of a salary and all of that. And when the accounts people, when they now do their thing, okay, they can see that yes, we are still not spending a lot of money on salaries, but we have our workforce intact. So we are just hoping that things will get better tomorrow, and definitely things will get better. Now, if you want to sack your staff at this point, when things get better, talents are very all over again, spending. So to avoid conflict that may come up, the HR person is supposed to have a roundtable discussion on behalf of management with the employees, and also have a roundtable discussion with the management team.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's quickly move on to the next question because of our time. Our time is fast spent, and we are just on the question five for tonight's discussion. What roles does HR's knowledge of labor laws and regulation play in ensuring fair treatment of employees while safeguarding the interest of the employers in challenging economic situation?
Yes. Okay, another thing that can help us stay afloat at this point. I don't know if you can hear me.
Go ahead, please. I can hear you.
Okay, so another thing that can help us stay afloat in this period, this challenging period, okay, is HR's knowledge of labor law, so that I management, especially when laying off staff, holding on to their salaries, okay. For example, there are some organizations that have started feeling, okay, the negative effects of this hardship, okay, and they are not able to pay salaries. Okay, so the HR understanding that you don't have your staff come to work for you and you don't pay salaries at the month end, that is against labor law, is on how, or advise the management on how to let go of some of this stuff where necessary, okay, because it's somehow that someone works for you for like 6 months, and so it's not just his role here should be to play an advisory role to the management. And also when laying off staff, because what we hear most times now is that lay staff, lay them off, cut down on the workforce and all of that.
Hmm. All right. So because of our
Is the
time, I may not be able to.
organization following the right process? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, you can go on, please. Nnenna.
Um, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I thought you were trying to explain the your response for question number 5.
Yes, that's what I was doing, but I don't know if you can hear me now.
I can hear you. I've always been hearing you.
I can hear you.
Nnenna, can you hear me, please? I can hear you from my hand.
Yes, I can hear you.
Please go ahead. I can hear you. Just go ahead. All right. It seems we've lost Nnenna over there. It seems we've lost Nnenna over there. But it's been a fantastic conversation here. So, and the questions have been very technical. One, we like to what? I mean, pay attention to because it has to do with labor, it has to do with workforce, it has to do with you, it has to do with organization, and in every way it impacts in, I mean, on you, or it rubs off on you, or whoever you may find your you may have a colleague, you may have a staff, you may have an employer and employee. So this conversation is very important to everyone listening to us right now. So thank you very much, Indina. I think because of our time, I just want you to wrap up with the question 5 there, so that we can move on to the next question in time.
Okay, okay. So, like I was saying, I said the knowledge labor law function, the HR team can guide the employee to handle the affairs of staff, especially when they want to lay off staff. Okay, or what we have most times happen, especially in one-man businesses, you have where employers don't. Okay, let's use the term gaslight. Okay, they stop talking to their employees. They stop giving them time to work remotely. So that's a way of laying them off, which is not ethical. The HR person with the knowledge of law should be able to guide the management team or the business owner on how to go about laying off staff. There's no harm in calling your staff and explaining to them that this is the situation at this point. We can't keep on paying salaries and we'll have to let you go. When situation improves, we are going to call you back. Okay? So there's no harm in doing that. But what we have is employers gaslight their staff. It can be very, very, very emotionally draining. Okay, you're trying to talk to your boss, sir, how do we go about this? Madam, how do we go about this? And they don't answer you because in their hearts they have let go of you. Some of them will not want to pay the 1 month in lieu of notice that is in the policy. So whenever an employer wants to lay off an employee, ensure that the HR person has to guide advice, okay, that let us go through what is in our policy, and definitely every organizational policy is written in line with labor law. So that's the way that the HR team can play that vital role in ensuring that in employees are treated fairly.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Because of our time, I just want us to be able to what? I want us to ensure that we tackle the rest of the question because before our time, and we exhaust our time on the show tonight. It's almost 1 hour on the show. But then, with a few minutes left, I hope we're able to tackle the rest of the question. Please, if you have questions based on what we are discussing or opinion, please drop it in the comment section so that we can tackle it before the end of the tonight's show. Remember, this is Couple Live with McAden, and we do this every Friday evening. Next question on my list here is, how can HR create effective employee assistance program that offer support and resources to employees struggling with economic uncertainties?
Okay. Um, employee assistance program, right? I
Yeah.
didn't really get the question very. Okay, employee
Yes.
assistance program. Okay, definitely.
Yes.
People are passing through a lot of stress. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the HR understands that people are passing through a lot of stress. Stress of commuting to work sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's not as easy as it used to be. Okay, and
Yeah.
um spending a whole lot of money, some people must have dipped their hands into their savings by now. Okay, people who drive to work and all of that. Then people who take buses is more difficult now. Sometimes when you get to the bus stations, you notice that the queue is very, very long. So HR understands that people are trying to adjust, even the cost of living, generally speaking, their life, okay, at home too, which will impact on how productive they are going to be at work. So one of the things HR could come up with as employee assistance program is stress management trainings, wellness programs. Like I said, everybody's passing through stress. I've actually undergone some trainings this past month, yeah, even this month, on anxiety, stress management, and all of that. So HR could organize trainings for that, and introduce wellness program, okay, so that the health is being taken care of. Because when people start agitating, when people start getting so worked up like that, it has an effect on their health. It might not play out now, it might play out in the future. But when we have wellness programs introduced, people are consciously, intentionally working towards achieving good health, okay, and eating right and all of that. So we can have trainings of that. Then we could have counseling. Sometimes the treatment someone needs is just a listening ear, all right, to have someone listen to you. So HR can also come up with counseling sessions um across the organization. Now, it doesn't mean that it's only HR that will do this. Definitely HR will work with a team of other people to ensure that it comes up. Then again, finance management, teach people how to cut down on their own costs. Now, not organizational costs, now their own personal costs. Okay, cut down, or come up with strategies on how they can cut costs, and then teach them about survival strategies, because we need to survive this situation. Is somebody here?
All right, there. So sorry, so sorry. I got thrown out with network failure over here. Thank you very much for holding forth here. We continue. We will continue with the conversation as we wrap up the conversation for tonight. Quickly. Let's move on to the next question. As we wrap up the conversation for tonight. That will be question number 7. Yes, question number 7. Question number 7 states, uh, what measures can HR take to ensure that employers remain transparent and empathetic when communicating the impact of economic challenges to their employees?
Okay, I think the answer is actually in the question. um, by being open, there's no need to hide. Okay, if if we are drowning, let us all know we are drowning. If we are flying, let's know we are flying. Okay, so by being open, all right, and then have genuine concern for what the employees are also passing through, and also the employees also need to understand to what the employers they are passing through. Okay. So with that, I know with that definitely there's going to be empathy on both sides. That both parties, both the employers and employees, should be intentional about. People should understand at this point that this is how it is.
Hmm.
We are all in it. And people should not be selfish. Okay, so they should not say, "Oh, I've invested a lot in this business, this, that. What's my business with you people? And please just go like that." No, they should show that they feel it, they understand, and also, put themselves in the shoes of employees. And employees should also do that. It's not
Hmm.
like if there's example, let's say if our email or memo that we are going to be using our generator is going to be coming on between this time and that time. Sometimes when you now go to offices, you see employees fanning themselves. They will just tell you, HR, we are dead here. Oh. The heat is too much. The heat is too much. We can't do anything. Can we just go home? No, but that is the point where the employee should understand that actually the cost of running the generator is high, and this is one of the the cost cutting measures that we've taken. See.
All right, thank you very much. Everyone should understand the other person, but I think let me just bring back this at the end of the conversation. If we still have more time, I will ask you what is your take on that area of the conversation. But quickly going straight to the next question, we have very few minutes. We've extended beyond the hour of 1 hour. I mean, beyond the time allocated for this show already because of some of the challenges we face at the beginning of this conversation. But then I think we still have some minutes. I mean, very few questions are left for us to quickly tackle as we wrap up the conversation for tonight. Remember, this is Corporate Live Show with McAden, and here we are with Nnenna dealing with those questions, tackling those questions, expatiating and explaining things to us in a way we can deal with without conflict. And I do hope that after the show, we go back to our place of work to what? To manage situations around us, and we can act better. I do hope my guest is here with us. The next question, quickly, because of our time, is how does HR contribute to this to strategic workforce planning that aligns with the changing economic landscape while still valuing and training skilled employees?
Okay. How do the first thing is I would like to talk about the skills development or enhancement. So definitely in workforce planning, we know we talk about where the organization is going. Okay, like as I say, from now, from August till the end of the year, where do we want to see ourselves as in this organization? What surviving skills that we should have generally as the as an organization? What are the organizational competencies we want to build? And then we do and ensure that the staff, the workforce we have, they meet up to this they meet up to what we're looking for. Now if they don't, the HR should introduce trainings on how to upskill. Okay. um and then how the staff, the present staff, okay, should also learn new skills. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. So there's a bakery I know. All right, so and the owner of the bakery said cost of raw materials have actually gone up, and I have 10 staff. I can't continue paying 10 staff. Okay. It's very important that we cut down from the 10 staff that we have to like four. So all the meetings, all the assessments and all of that, going through past records, all those things were done, all those processes were followed, and then six people had to go off the team. So during that period, the remaining four that were retained were also trained on carrying out multi-tasks, like taking up other responsibilities that have been dropped from the people that have left, from the roles of the people that have left. Okay, so what HR could do at this point, first of all, is to understand that what are the surviving skills, the surviving competencies that we need to stay afloat in this organization. Where is the business environment facing? Which direction are we actually facing? How do we get better results in a shorter period of time? Okay, and when we don't really spend a whole lot of money. Okay, so if the function understands this, the thing is to do a proposal to the management and then
Mm,
implement. Like I said, it all depends on skills enhancement and including multi-skill in people. Someone who has just been used to administrative roles and all of that could also learn how to go about cost, especially on social media. Let's say handling their social media pages, answering customer their social media, not just now going to the office and then doing your admin stuff.
all right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're coming to the end of the conversation with just two questions left. Taking down the last question is uh what what strategies, we've been talking about strategies and strategy, we've been mentioning strategies. What strategies can HR employ towards encourage employers to invest in employees development and training, event mindset, economic landscape? I mean, even amidst economic amidst economic hardship. Sorry for that. Pardon me. I'm sorry. I don't know. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Nnenna, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can see your face moving, but I can't hear you. I can't hear your voice. Nnenna, can you hear me, please? I can't hear your voice. I don't think Nnenna can hear me. I can't hear your voice. Okay, Nnenna, if you can hear me, go ahead and answer question number 9 because of our time. While I refresh my screen here. Nnenna, can you hear me, please? I can't hear you at all. At all. It seems the issue is from your end. Can you go out and come in so that we can wrap up the conversation? Okay, it's like the network issue is everywhere. I can see people on LinkedIn now telling us there is network issue at their hand too. But I do hope that network issue is restored in time. Is installed in time. So thank you very much, Nnenna. I hope you're back. I hope you're coming back shortly. All right, I can't see Nnenna anymore, so I do hope we get the network restored back for Nnenna. While we quickly wrap up the conversation, we've almost gotten to the end of the show for tonight. We're almost there. Hello, Nnenna, I can hear you. I still cannot hear you. Can you hear me, please? Audience, please, if you can hear me, let me know who among us you can hear so that I can know where the problem is coming from. It may be from Nnenna side, it may be from my hand. But as it stands right now, I can't hear Nnenna, and she's sending signal to me that she can hear me, but I can't hear her. And if I cannot hear her, I don't know if you will be able to hear her either. So I want to be sure that the challenge or the problem is not coming from my end. I'm going to go out of the show and then come in again.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better now. I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Network is been challenging around here too.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let's go straight to the answer. So I was explaining before now that this is the wrongest time to present a training budget, okay, to the management. But we understand that training is very important. The question before now, we talked about skills enhancement. How do we achieve that if not through training? Okay, so the HR professionals could come up with not so costly trainings or strategies, okay, to have the staff trained. All right. The first thing we can do is to look towards building um, internal training academy. All right, in the sense that we could see there are some subject experts, subject matter experts in different organizations. You just train them on how to facilitate, okay, on how to teach. And first of all, the HR person should identify these people. There are people naturally who have this gift of training, have this gift of teaching, of nurturing. Okay. So when they are being identified, you could just have an academy just for that organization. And then from time to time organize training programs for these people to learn how to teach, and also for the organization for them to now teach the staff or their teammates or their subordinates. Okay, so that means you take it upon yourself to read, to study, to get more knowledge in a topic, and then come to talk about it. We could do things like book reviews. Okay, we could do um, we could do things like learning lunches. One of my staff actually told me, she came up with the idea that we need to train our staff. I said yes, we need to train our staff, the staff of our clients, and she came up with learning lunches. The first one took place today, so it's like during lunch, the person that's been appointed to facilitate that session just shares knowledge on this and that. And then sometimes you could encourage people to have study teams. Okay, it's not just only in schools. If you are an HR person on top of your game, you should understand that your organization is also a learning organization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's just like a school too. So it's not just work, work, work. So everybody is encouraged to also study on their own. You
Mm.
could just give out topics and you tell them, okay, go on, do your studies and all of that, and then come back, and then we'll have a roundtable discussion. Try to make it fun and all that. So when management actually sees that the HR person is actually know that the whole organization, the employees are actually benefiting from this, okay, definitely you see that the management, if they have a little money by the side, they could say, okay, why don't we do it in a why don't we do it in a bigger way, in a more effective way. Another thing could be for facilitators at this point to also understand, yeah, everybody is working hard for their money. To also understand that if you charge this amount of money for some kind of it like this, if you charge this amount of money for a session, now you could decide to reduce it, okay, just to keep that work relationship you have with that organization going. So these are some of the strategies we could employ.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a conversation. As we wrap up the conversation for tonight, I want to bring up these last questions, but then I want to remind our audience. Remember, this is Corporate Live with McAden. Every Friday evening, we have this from the hour of 7 p.m. down to 8 p.m. Today is an exception because we had some little delay while we were starting the show. We had some little delay, so we are extending the time a little bit forward. I mean, a little bit further. So just 15 minutes. I mean, 19, 20 minutes extra time on the show tonight. Please pardon us. We just want to make sure that we tackle all the questions as much as possible on the show tonight. So tonight, the last question, that's what we're discussing right now. So the last question is, what strategies can HR employ to encourage I think that was the last question I just okay HR employ encourage employers to invest in employees and development and training, even amidst the economic hardship? That was the last question. So the previous question. I think this is just similar questions, but then the questions and the questions from the beginning to the end has been a fantastic one. It's been a conversation indeed on the show tonight, and I really want to say a big thank you to Nnenna Okoroafor for joining us on the conversation at Corporate Life show with McAden tonight. And then from the on behalf of the team, everyone listening right now, I just want to say a very big thank you. Before I say that big thank you, before our usual thank you, very explosive thank you on the show. Any final word from your hand, Nnenna, to our audience watching us, or those that will be listening to this recorded conversation right now, maybe later in the future? Any last word you want to give us?
Okay, so I know we have a mix of both employers and employees listening to us, business owners, and all of that. So I just want to encourage us. Okay, so this is something that has we have seen ourselves in the situation of things in the country. Let us try to be courageous. Okay, let's not just drop the ball at any point. Let's not allow fear and anxiety come up. Let us remain positive that things will improve. Okay, but for now, if even in your personal life, just look inwards, know where you can make adjustments. Okay, so that you're not put under a whole lot of pressure, and then don't take it out on people around you. If you're a business owner and business is looking good, please don't take it out. You have to be emotionally intelligent at this point. Okay, and then if you're an employee and you might get to work and then you have some policies come up that are not so friendly, try to understand. Okay, and don't, like I said, try to be emotionally intelligent at this point. Don't let it out when you get home, and um, you see your children, other people you share your life with. Please don't let the frustration from work or from standing in queues waiting for buses and all of that. Don't let it get down to don't transmit it. Don't take it out on the people close to you. Have a positive mind always, and I'm sure we are coming out of it stronger than we even imagined. Thank you for having
All
me on
right.
the
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The word there is, don't let it get you on the wrong side. I mean, it's actually the truth about the matter, because once you act, you can't undo your action. It's already out there. You can't pack it back. You can't use eraser to erase it. And how many people can you apologize to for acting wrongly? And that was one of the HR personnel in one of the top organization in Nigeria did, and it was really casted out. Even on Twitter, it was deep. I mean, it was a conversation. You can watch out. Just go watch out. HR or HR department, head of HR department, and misbehaving towards employers, and it was really casted out. And then for us on the show tonight, we just want to say a very big thank you to you, Nnenna Okoroafor. This is from all of us at Corporate Life team. So thank you very much for doing this with us tonight. We say a big thank you. This is her saying thank you very much. So for doing
you
this,
too.
thank you very much.
Thank you too. It's been a very insightful session.
All right, all right. So this is where we do all the cutting for tonight's show. Remember, this is Corporate Live with McAden. Every Friday evening, we come here live to discuss important topics. Remember, 7 p.m. every Friday evening. Next week, we'll be discussing a very important topic. I hope we don't change that topic. Is it Shakpa or Jakpa? Which strategic choice will you make? Do you want to remain in Nigeria? And does it mean, well, when you remain here in Nigeria, does it mean that your experience will be that of the one that we will describe with Shakpa? So if that will be it, then why not Jakpa? So we want to discuss that. It will be a head-to-head discussion. Our guests are preparing, and then we are preparing to get you the best of show, the best of conversation right here on Corporate Live Show with McAden. Thank you very much again, once again, and every time again, in and out for joining us on the show tonight. Thank you for doing this with us. We really appreciate your time spent and resources spent, shared with us. So thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
All right, everyone. I say have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye bye from here.